Beckman Unleashed podcast number 29.
We are live.
And we're live. All right. Ready, Eric? Here's what I'm going to
Actually, hold on.
with.
I'm not ready yet. Hold on a second.
All right.
Okay, now I'm ready. Go ahead.
Here's what I want to talk about. We are people, my clients, everybody I see, people watching this podcast to a lesser degree. Everyone gives their dog too much attention. You have to get in the habit, some of you who have poorly trained dogs, you have to get in the habit of withholding attention and touching of your dog. You want to know why Prince and Bosco were some great dogs? It's because I understood this concept of there is a time and a place when your dog comes over to you and sits on you or puts its head on your lap for you to say, go lie down, and the dog walk away sad. I know it sounds mean.
You're heartless.
I know. I get it. I'm in the business of helping clients and YouTube viewers to have better trained dogs and to fix dog problems. If you have a rescue that just showed up to your house, didn't just show up, but you rescued them and now they're at your house, I'm not saying to do this. If you have a 8-week-old dog, I'm not saying that to do this, or a 6-month-old dog. Your 1-year-old dog who launches itself at people coming into your home, you should be doing this. Your dog that launches itself at you and jumps at you and says, I love you so much and I'm going to jump on you. You should do this. There is a tremendous amount of power in withholding attention, not love necessarily, but withholding touching and attention and eye contact from your dog. If you make your attention a little more valuable, there is huge benefits in that. Dog problems will go away.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So let's just say one of your kids is having a party at their house and there's a punch bowl there. Do you just kind of walk in and just take the punch bowl and walk out the door? Do you do that on fairly often? No?
No.
Okay. Are they allowed to have fun?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just curious. Continue.
Oh, okay. Your dog can have fun. We're not talking about fun. You think your dog coming over and jumping on you or petting you is like, it's not fun. It's demanding of attention. And they don't even know they're doing it. They just know that person gives me everything I want whenever I want it. And the touching and jumping on you and being close to you is this thing that they need. And if you withhold it, then they seek your attention in other ways. If you give it all the time, if you shower them all the time, go shower your partner with love every second she needs it and she demands it, and go and just do it all the time. And you're told to do that, but I dare you to do that and then call me in 5 years when that man or that woman has left you.
I didn't even have to bring it. I didn't even have to bring up the relationship thing. You went right there that quick.
Okay. I didn't mean to go right there, but I'm going right there. No. Oh, but if you just give your wife everything she wants, she'll be a happy woman. Okay. Just shower her and give her a back massage every single night and a foot massage every single day. And then your husband, just do everything he ever wants you to do and never push back, and call me in 5 years. I dare you, and tell me how happy your marriage is.
So if I put on my financial cap here, one of my economics classes talked about supply and demand.
Yeah.
Sounds like this is what's happening here is when you supply so much, and I know it's actually like quantity supplied, but all the people in the comments don't talk about this, but you supply so much affection that the demand for affection goes down.
Yeah. It's
same for dogs. You're saying same is that relationships or your relationship? My
relationship?
I'm just curious.
It's all relationships.
Okay.
No, everyone's different. Every dog's different. I said this doesn't apply for rescues. You could argue there's certain humans in your life that need it for reassurance, and then there's people who
it doesn't apply to rescues.
Withhold it. They need to feel safe in your home. Babies need to feel safe. My first child, the nurses, which I thought was a little weird, and to this day I think it's weird. The nurses are like, you got to take your shirt off. There's a bunch of nurses around, and I thought it was because I was like kind of looking buff. And
they thought you were looking good.
Yeah. That's still what I think to this day. A little bit. I was in better shape 14 years ago. They go, take your shirt off, and then I put the baby on. Right? It's about safety. It's about touch. It's important. Your 1-year-old dog, it is not that important anymore for you to stroke them all the time.
Yeah, not to shoot you down, but they made me take my shirt off.
Then it doesn't apply what I thought it did.
And you're like Greek god Joel Beckman, right?
So the attention thing, I'm telling you, I know it's weird. You might think it's tough. You might not want to. Your dog comes up for love, and you tell him, go lie down. There's no promise of attention from you when they want it. And you even telling them to go lie down, there are benefits to it, especially if you've never done it. And you will see those benefits almost immediately. It's weird. I can't totally explain it. The supply and demand thing is kind of the best way to put it a little bit in concrete terms. There is something that happens when you do this with a difficult dog, with a demanding dog, with a dog of a certain age, essentially 9 months, but definitely a year to 2 years. You start doing this. You don't need to do this at 2 years old because you started it at a year, and that dog goes out in the world and is just a little more respectful of you as a human being. There's something in their heart and in their mind and in their body that says this guy's not a pushover. They don't say that. It doesn't come out like that, but it's there's
he's valuable.
Organisms just have this interplay.
Right. He's valuable.
Yeah. He's valuable. He's important. He's dominant. He's whatever you want. Organisms, husbands, wives, children, kids, coworkers, dog to human, dog to dog, that they sort of understand certain things. And when things are withheld, other things happen. And
think about the availability, right? That if you maybe have a friend, you have 3 friends, right? And 2 of them you hang out with all the time. And one of them, he never can hang out. He's always so busy. He always has stuff going on. If he's like, hey, I got some free time. You want to go out and catch a movie? You'd be like, oh, he's available, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the other 2, you're hanging out with them all the time. You're like, whatever. Who cares? Right?
You're dating a girl. She doesn't get back to you. You know what most people do? They try it more. They try it more, as opposed to the wise thing to do would be to walk away and go, she ain't interested. Well, that's not what happens.
Yeah.
It's never what happens. The opposite happens 99% of the time. Why is that? Is it healthy for them to keep wanting? No, it's just the way it is. We can fight nature, or you can get your dog better trained in all aspects of life. How about when you walk in the door? Oh, I don't give my dog attention when he walks in the door. Yeah, well, your dog's getting its attention. It's jumping at you. It's sometimes getting to your chin. It's still touching you. That's why I love my jumping method. I love it maybe more than any other method that I do, and it's called the shed method. I'm walking in, and I'm doing high knees with my gait, my normal gait, and I'm going, it's not
just Deion Sanders style, just pushing right through. Or
Deion does high legs.
He does like a high step.
Yeah, he does a high step. I'm talking high knees. And then you want some more advice in life?
Yeah, I do. What do you got?
Don't. This is a tough one. It's a tough one, guys. Don't say hi to your kids first. Go say hi to your husband and wife first. It's not easy.
What if they're 1?
Give them a little hi little baby, hi little baby,
you just ignore them for 5 minutes
and then go hug your wife. You know why? Your children are a product of that relationship, and they should know that they are a product. You love your wife or your husband. They are number 1 to you, and the children are number 2 to you. Now, why are they going to believe that? Probably not, because we're all going to shower them with so much love. But it's important for them to maybe think it for a minute. It's real.
So
someone told me.
Have you ever heard about that book?
I did not invent that.
Called, I think it's Robert Greene, The 48 Laws of Power. Have you heard about that? Oh man. Okay.
What does it say?
It's messed people up because it's called The 48 Laws of Power, I believe. And the idea is that some of them are a bit like, I don't know if it's malevolent is the right word, but these different laws of power. But one of the laws of power, as an example, just off the top of my head, has to do with not speaking a lot. Now, obviously, if you're on a podcast, that's difficult. But the idea would be
the strongest guy in the room.
The powerful people are going to be, say, fewer words, right? And they have to say less. It gets a bit more complicated than that because there's like, especially in like corporate situations where there's other elements at play that even if you're not powerful by nature, that if you have like a powerful position, you're automatically you gain some of that, right? It's like me with dog training. Like I'm a powerful dog trainer. Why? Because I'm sitting next to Joel.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
So, and I read that comment to you guys. I thought it would be funny to have me train a dog live on TV or whatever. So that's definitely not going to happen.
It might. We might do it. But let's button this up.
Yeah. So let's think.
I think I said things a lot of people haven't heard, including ignore your children, but it's the same concept. I didn't say ignore your children. Say hi to your wife and your husband before your kids. You got to trust me. I'm not the greatest parent in the world, but you got to trust me, right?
Then the dog after the kids?
Oh, dog third.
Does the dog make the list?
Yeah, third.
Okay. But before the goldfish, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. See, there's a pecking order.
There is a pecking order, and it's an important pecking order. And listen, if you have no problems in life, don't listen to me.
It's pretty
If your kids are perfect, don't listen to me. If your dog is perfect, do not listen to me. If you're just listening to this podcast for some interesting stuff, great. If you're listening to this podcast because dog problems, you should listen to me because the dog numbers are there. It's been many. I don't make anything up.
You're like Wilt Chamberlain numbers, right?
Yes. If you want women advice, talk to Wilt.
True.
The proof's in the pudding.
You picked that one up quick.
Good work. No, I know what's up.
I feel good that because you have this hierarchy and like before you even go to Liz and then to the kids, you come here first. And I really appreciate that.
Yes, I do come here and then I go home. Yes. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. Right? Attention withholding is a powerful tool and you should use it if you have disrespect problems with your dog. What's disrespect? Your dog launching you is full on disrespect. Now, you did it. You caused the problem. I get it. You're the one who petted them when they jumped on you. You're the one who didn't walk through the door and you did it all. But we got to change it. Just because you made the mistakes doesn't mean we don't change. There's no your dog doesn't have the right to be touched by you whenever they want. You think they have that right. Maybe you want to do it. Great. Pet them all day long. But if your dog's launching at guests coming in the house, attacking dogs, you're not going to change launching at guests at the moment of launching at guests. You're not going to change attacking dogs when they're attacking dogs. I can't change attacking dogs when they're attacking dogs. All the work needs to be done, needs to be front loaded. Okay. Oh, you're back to the laws of power.
So,
all right.
I wanted to do something crazy. We don't have to do it now, but I wanted to go through some of the laws of power.
Let's do it quick.
And I want to see how it relates to dog training.
Okay. Never outshine the master.
That
relates 100%.
How does it relate?
Well, it's a weird way to put it. Never outshine. A dog's not trying to outshine his master, but you're the master. Think of yourself that way.
Yeah, you got to be, whether it's, they call it the alpha, the dominant, the king, whatever, right?
You're the boss.
You're the boss.
You are the boss. If you have children, you're the boss. Can anyone really say that's not true? Well, you can say it's not true, that you're not doing it, but can we say there's no benefit to that? Okay, sorry, guys.
I'm not saying people should live by these laws of power. I'm just saying they're interesting, and it's a really popular book.
Have them at your disposal.
Yeah.
The 48 Laws of Power. Never put too much trust in friends.
And learn how to use enemies.
And learn how to use enemies. Doesn't apply to dog training unless I think about it, which is boring of me.
It's more like, you have to put a muzzle on your friends or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
That, right?
Conceal your intentions.
That's like that one. Remember what was the name of the skillful deception video you came out with? where you're tricking the dog. Remember, you
you
did that.
Conceal
Make
your
it, you
intentions.
make it seem like you're going one way and then you go the other. It's all about leash.
That's true. Plus, like we talked last week podcast, and I posted on Instagram that pit that was launching himself at me. I'm just walking for a long time until I'm like, I'm not going to be like, no, stop it. I'm going to try to grab you. And he learns to jump away from me. I'm basically like, when it's time to go, it's time to go. Bop, grab. And the dog's like, holy mackerel. I'm not going to let you learn to jump away from my hand by acting like I'm going to like half-ass grabbing you.
Yeah.
So I was concealing my intentions.
Well, if you think about it, whenever you get the leash on a dog who's tough on the leash, right? You're always concealing your intentions. You're always trying to be unpredictable. So he follows you, and if I've watched you once, I've watched you 1,000 times, right? You're just making short, quick movements, and you're turning away. Hey, I'm not going there. I'm not there. I'm here. Are you watching me? And you're trying to get that dog to check in with you, right? So I'm not forecasting that we're going forward. Sometimes, oh no, the next one's the best. We're 2 for 3.
Bro,
that's 66%.
We're about to be 3 for 4. Always say less than necessary.
That's kind of what I was, or that was part of what I was saying.
Bro, I just today, every day, 50% of my clients, 30% of my clients, I'm saying you got to stop talking to your dog, saying their name, saying no. It's the touching thing too. You're constantly talking. Your voice is wind in the trees to your dog, and they don't do what you're saying to do. Why you keep talking? Because when you're talking, you're forgetting what you're doing with your body. This is very important. Because we're humans. So when we talk to people, we assume they hear us, and they do hear us. So we're communicating through voice. With a dog, you got to stop communicating with your voice, because then you'll focus on your body, because that's almost all the communication with a dog. Whereas it's 70% with people, it's 99% with dogs. 30% is communication with, well, tone is part, what you say is part, and then your body language with people is actually a giant, like 70%. They say. But with dogs, it's 99.
Yeah, and even if you don't believe,
and tone is 1%.
Think about that too as you as you walk down that idea of saying less than necessary. A lot of times things are important, right? So we want to talk about them a lot because they're super important. We had a conversation before, which I think was a good conversation, just a normal business conversation
before this podcast.
But if I were to basically bullet point it and just say, here's what's going on. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think? Like, I think we underestimate the fact that you can just take 5 quick bullet points and be like, yeah. But it's like we feel the need to like belabor to make sure that they know. Yeah. Versus this, which is just like, just say it. Yeah. Just say it. But that's exactly right. Whether it's dogs or kids, right? You're not, if your kids are acting out, you're not going to get the best results by talking to them for an hour about it. You're like, hey, right? Yeah. And
it's got to be a mix.
Yeah.
You got to talk to them. All right. The next one's actually pretty good too, but I have to change it. So much depends on reputation. Okay. What does reputation mean to a dog? It means nothing, but here's what matters. When a dog comes in, I'm walking and looking at them and acting different than their owners. I'm different. Like that, my reputation is already different. Like things have changed. This is now the new normal. You got to respect this guy. And then it trickles down to other people in that dog's life. I don't know if that totally works.
No, that's good.
But reputation is a weird word that doesn't apply to dogs.
It's still, though, if you think about as it relates to dog training, right? Your body of work with the YouTube, right? And also to me, when I think it says here, say little and BM, or no, it's not that one. It's this one. With the reputation, guard it with your life. It's reputation because it's integral to power. With a strong reputation, you can influence and intimidate others. Now, some of this stuff is like a little bit crazy. But the reputation to me is like, imagine we have a reputation about posting the podcast each week. Like, imagine if you're just like, whatever, I'm not posting. Like, part of it is reputation based, that you're trying to make sure that you're delivering what you're expected to deliver. Yeah. And so it's not just about
dog training.
Right. It's about the fact that you don't want to not do something you said you're going to do.
All right. Create an air of mystery. Okay. The dogs come to me and they sometimes are like, what's this guy going to do? You know, this guy does stuff different than my owner. Be outrageous.
You are mysterious,
create an air of mystery. Yeah. be outrageous or create an aura of mystery. Any attention, positive or negative, is better than being ignored. Attention brings you wealth.
But especially not wanting to be ignored when you're trying to deal with it.
Yeah.
Aggressive dog,
you're
right?
You're not someone to be ignored ever.
Yeah.
And that goes back to actually this whole point about touching. If they just get what they want from you 24 hours a day, you can be ignored.
It's so important. And I know all the parents that are listening are thinking there's few things that can bother you more with your kids than them ignoring you. Like, forget the disobeying, just purposefully just trying to play you off. It was so that there's so much power in the fact of, like, when you speak, people are listening. And if they're not listening, you're like, hey, am I talking to a wall here? What's going on?
With the dog too, when you speak, like, you cannot just talk.
Like,
and let's, for the sake of time, let's be done.
Yeah. Are you good?
What are we going to do? 48 of them? Yeah, we're good.
No, I don't know. I just was on a roll.
No,
I might write a book
good.
about this.
I like it.
Yeah. You weren't ready for that, were you? I just came up with that.
No, we applied it pretty good. Makes sense.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
It could be a key to your dog training and your dog, the respect. I just had a Cane Corso come out today, 11 months old. I'll probably post the video because he basically came out and he ran around the property and I liked him. He's a good dog. He's a sweet dog. And then he said, Cane Corso. And then he said, I'm going to launch myself at you, you guy. And he proceeded to launch himself at me, not in an aggressive way, in a jumping 11-month-old way. And it's not happening. Where does I'm going to say this in a hardcore way. I like this dog, but he needs some stuff. Where does a dog, and it's because of the owners, and it's because of you guys have inadvertently, not you guys, people have inadvertently done this. Where does a dog think that it can go to someone's house and then launch themselves at the person's house? He came to my house and he said, I'm going to launch at you multiple times and I'm going to hit you as hard as I can. How is that acceptable in any way, shape, or form? Forget being anthropomorphic of, oh, well, like human, I get where a human can do that, but it's a dog. Why is that okay for a dog? Sorry, I get worked up and
throwing the keyboard around, buddy.
Here's the thing. It's not okay. And that people have to understand that. I don't take it personally. It sounds like I do, but I don't. I'm trying to get the viewers and my clients, and I've done this for so long, where I have to give them that spiel so that they go, oh yeah, okay. And they sort of understand it. Then they can apply the stuff. They have to have the attitude. Then they can do the deal. Okay, you grab him right here. Okay, he tries to mouth you. You take his lip. You put it in his mouth. He bites on his lip. It's like with your little kid brother. Quit hitting yourself. Quit biting your lip, bro. You can quit biting your lip at any time. At any time. And it was a battle. It was a battle that he loved. And his little tail went. When I grabbed him, he said, yep, I know what's going on. This is what my mom does to me. And then he did every single move in the book. Mouth the arm, flip on the back, put the paw up, put the back legs on. And I'm going to post the video.
Yeah, you haven't posted it, right?
No, it just happened today. It's awesome. And then by the end of it, it's not a big fun game. The tail stops. Then I let him go. And I say, jump on me again. We can keep doing this till you understand. We will do this all day. And then he did it again. And then we did it again. And then throughout the rest of the session, he'd run around, have fun with all his friends, introduce Prince, love Prince, but he'd look at me and his ears would pin. And he'd go, and you think you don't need to do that with your 100-pound Cane Corso? You're crazy. You're crazy. You're a crazy person. You need to be committed to an institution.
So, if I were to ask you a question.
And she knew it. The owner knew it.
So, you've heard this kind of do what you say you're going to do, be where you say you're going to be is kind of a words to live by. So do what you say you're going to do. That's a pretty big theme on the podcast. And I think we could talk about something different, and yet it completely applies to dog training, correct? Like if that dog, how does not following through with your dog send a message that takes a ton more time to train them because you're not delivering each time?
Yes. The concept everyone watching this goes, oh, that makes sense. Okay, follow through or do what you say you're going to do. Now, how does that actually apply? Once you have trained a behavior, the behaviors are not requests anymore. At a year old, the behavior is trained. And I don't mean, well, my dog comes to me in my backyard. Now I'm going to go to the dog park and ask my dog to come. No, that behavior is not trained. You can't go get them because you literally, you trained a recall. You didn't train a recall in a dog park. Those are two totally different things. So, but once the behavior is trained, you've done the recall at the dog park 20 times. Your dog comes to you. Then your dog decides to not come to you. You're following up with them. You're going to get them and you're bringing them back because they just said, I don't feel like coming to you, guy. Well, your dog's not a puppy anymore. You want a life-saving recall? There's a few ways to do it. Never get them management, never get them in situations that they're not going to come to you using long lines or fences.
Oh. Sorry, bro.
Or you use an e-collar, of which I am a proponent of, for recall, or you use my method, which is the go get method. There are only so many ways to get 100% recall, but to your point, follow up. When you say sit and the dog has been trained in sit, they can be slow. They could even turn sideways and sit. They can do a lot of things, but they're going to sit. Oh, I don't want my dog to be a robot like that, Joel. Is Prince a robot? I don't think Prince is a robot. Was Bosco a robot? You follow up.
It reminds me of your Hell or High Water video. Can I show it to him real quick?
You just brought up. Yeah, but okay, it's gonna blow our ears off.
I turned it down a bit.
Okay, go.
Ready? What is this? This is the more recent. What is this one?
Hell or High Water.
Is it this one here? Hopefully. No.
All right. This is a video of where I go in the pool to get a dog that does not come to me.
Recordings just got better.
Earth, are we getting an ad?
Go.
You don't pay for premium, bud?
No, okay. I don't.
Look at this guy. No, thanks. We're good on your premium. Just had the.
And I don't care where this dog goes.
On recall, you'll get the dog.
He jumps away from me. Your dog intro.
That's it.
So I'm gonna get you. And this dog was tough. This guy was a tough dog.
You weren't planning on taking off your shoes, were you?
No. I've been into the ocean to go after a Rottweiler who wouldn't come to me. So you follow up.
Yeah. So it's crucial. And then when you don't do it, like my question, when you don't do it, it's pretty detrimental, right? Like
it can
the
be.
Trust they start going, is this person really going to do? Are they really going to come get me? Whereas like that dog, I'm sure after you went in the water, it was like, okay, he will come get me.
Yeah, it can be. And no one's perfect.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean that he won't. It doesn't mean he'll do what you say, but he might also know that you're going to come get him. Right.
Yeah. And it'll affect him in other ways in life. Right. If that dog has leash reactivity, you think crazy guy who comes in the pool to get me doesn't help leash reactivity? It does. It's a weird one, just doing something different. This crazy guy got his shoes off and came in the pool, and then I jumped away and he went and got me. And then we pass a dog. The dog's a little more like, what's up with
crazy man over there?
What's up with crazy guy? Maybe I should watch him. And then we start to introduce the petting and the love after the discipline. I think Cesar Millan had a whole thing, right, that he'd say.
It's weird because as I sent you a video last night of this, I'd say goofball that was talking about how dominance was debunked. And they keep saying the same thing over and over, like they've read it. They're like parroting it exactly about the whole wolf study. So it's just, it's shocking, but it reminds me of like, you've seen all these YouTube videos where some guy is acting like a complete madman, right? And he won't listen to anybody. And then some badass maniac guy just like, hey, get it. And then it's like he totally changes gears, right? And he's now all of a sudden he's listening and he's like, hey, I didn't mean anything by it, right?
The dog or the person?
No, the person. Oh. Like the dominant male changed the entire situation when he entered the fold, when the maniac was just going around causing chaos.
Maniac dog.
No, maniac person.
Oh,
But you know what I'm saying? It's
all right. Serious guy showed up.
Yeah, serious guy showed up, put the smack down, or just addressed the issue.
The nanny show.
Yeah, wasn't afraid to.
The English nanny lady.
English nanny. Oh, that one lady?
I mean, that's the same type of thing. This new woman came in the house and goes, these are the rules. The rules are going to be applied.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. A dominant guy, woman comes in the mix.
But it's like, it's pretty obvious if you've seen 10 or 1,000 of these videos, just how people will change when they're addressed by a more dominant male who's challenging what they're doing. Now, sure, there might be a fight, but if it is the way it is in the human world, why would it not be the same in the dog world?
Yeah.
Right? Because we're all animals, right?
Yeah. And you sent me that video. Why is it always like talkers that you sent me this video of this guy and he's like, dominance is not a thing. And he points to all these things that they always say, David Mack, which is debunked. Even he was on, I think, Ivan's podcast and like said, like, this is being totally taken out of context. But I went through his channel.
Mm-hmm.
He's just talking.
Just
yapping away about dog training on a video medium where you can show yourself training dogs. You could actually he could have done that talk while training a dog if he wanted to. He's just a talker. Yeah. Remember what talkers were on my dominance hierarchy?
I think they were toward the bottom.
That guy's, it's so funny that why don't these people just show us a better way? If you don't think dominance works, take that Cane Corso and train the aggressive. It's easy. You put your money where your mouth is and show us the dogs. This is not rocket science.
You and Dog Daddy.
I would love it.
Garrett, all you guys say the same thing. Where are the dogs? You guys keep saying it over and over. Where are the dogs? You keep talking about it, but you never show us the dogs.
And they just brush it off. It's like, if we don't,
they're ignoring you.
If we don't acknowledge this giant problem that we have of we don't work with these dogs, if we just don't say anything about it, maybe no one will notice. I will never stop saying it. It will never go away. I would give them grace if they just said, listen, I'm going to try this aggressive Cane Corso and I'm going to use positive reinforcement and I'm just going to do it. And they didn't do a good job, but they got the dog 2% better. I would show them grace and say, thank you for just trying. I would show them grace, but they don't even try. It's the craziest thing. And much of society goes, okay, yeah, they don't work with the dogs, but I believe what they say.
It's like
but not much, a small percentage.
It's like bodybuilding. They're like, hey, I'm going to do
skinny guy.
I'm going to do a bodybuilding channel. But even if he's skinny or he's not skinning, he refuses to demo the movements he wants you to do. He's like, I'm going to tell you the plan. We're like, well, can you show us how to do it? He's like, I'm not showing you. we're not going to be in the gym at all.
Can you show me your muscles? No, I have no muscles.
Yeah.
Well, why would I listen to you? Well, just listen. Because this is the right way.
And he may know more, but we're just curious.
Yeah.
It's possible he knows more. But remember, there's people that know a lot. But the funny thing is you can know a lot, but if you're not implementing it, you don't, it's like that difference between like the belief and the faith, right? You know, where it's like you have a belief in something, but once you actually like take it to heart and do it, now you have like experiential faith that it will work because you've done it before. Like you have faith in your process because you've done it. It's not just like a weird belief. You know that your method works now.
Yeah.
You've done it 1,000 times.
My daughter surfs. There's surf coaches out there. Most of them were extremely high level pro surfers. Why is that? They know the kids are trying to get to pro surfers. There's a point at which just a average surfer will not be able to teach the child once the child is above. They've never been there. They haven't been in those big waves. They haven't been in those big contests. There's a point at which it just, you need to have been there. There's a point in dog training. You can't talk about aggression if you've never been there. I don't care what studies say. It doesn't matter. You've had to be in front of that dog and experience the fear in your heart in order to coach anybody on it.
Yeah.
The papers they literally don't matter. No, I don't say that they don't matter. It's a place to start. Then you build.
It's talk.
it's talk and it's fine. And it's research and it's all these things. And it's things people should know about. And then you go take those papers and those studies, and then you apply them to dogs. And I don't expect you to do it for your first time on a YouTube video if you're a YouTuber, but hone your skills, then eventually put it on there, or it doesn't. There is a point where what you say does not matter.
Yeah, because they need to see it. It kind of reminds me a bit of the
Video
idea,
media.
and I don't want to make it seem like it's being grandiose here, but this idea of like talking about war, right? Like we have not been to war, right? So we have a friend who we talk about
It's
on
not
the
the worst
podcast all
analogy
the time,
in the world.
right? We have this friend that we talk about on the podcast all the time. He wants to be paid every time we mention him, but we will never pay him. And basically, he's been to war, right? And so if I were to approach him, I would be like, okay, so what's something like that like, if you are comfortable explaining it, right? I don't go, I have a pretty good idea of what that would be like. So, I mean, I haven't been to war, but I have a feeling he'd be like, you have no idea what you're talking about, right?
No idea.
So so it's kind of a microcosm of like,
Yeah.
you know, if you are in jeopardy of getting bit by an aggressive dog,
Changes everything.
it's like that thing we read on like episode 2 or 3 about the arena. Remember the one about the credit goes to the man who's in the arena, who's actually doing the work.
Okay.
What is it? FDR?
I don't know.
Teddy Roosevelt quote, whatever. Anyways. So yeah.
The other analogy would be people without kids talking about raising kids.
Yeah.
It's as close to the war analogy as there is almost, dude. If you don't have kids and you want to talk about raising kids, and then I was the same way. When I didn't have kids, I literally was like, well, that doesn't seem right what they're doing. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But you have no idea what you would do.
Yeah.
You haven't been sleepless, and then you haven't dealt with the teenager. You literally have no idea the day-to-day of having children. There's so much going on. And I'm not talking about like, oh, the kids are being bad, this is hard. How about all the other stuff? How about being a man of integrity so your kids look up to you? How about, like, there are so many challenges. How about keeping your marriage good so that your kids have a good life? This is multi-pronged. This isn't just about, you don't have kids, you don't know how hard it is when they're freaking out at Target. That's part of it. That's a small part of it. You don't have kids. You don't know anything about marriage in a way. You don't know how hard it can be on a marriage. You don't know the joys of having kids. Like, it's really a weird, and it's hard. It's hard. When I didn't have kids, I had opinions about child raising, and I get it. When I didn't have a dog, I had opinions about dog training.
If you want to learn, you can listen to that. What is it? Teach Your Children Well song. Remember that one? Crosby, Stills and Nash. Maybe not. Maybe it's not them. It kind of reminds me of, because I want to go back to that point about the dog, about whoever said with the thing with the wolf, where they were like, oh,
David Mack.
Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking about this concept I brought up here about the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Have you heard of this before?
No. You'll have to explain it to me.
So
I don't totally understand, but I'm
totally
interested
into it. But the idea is like, so I think what it's saying is, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. So they're saying, if we don't have any evidence of something, it's not evidence that it doesn't exist, or that there's no of absence. It's not evidence of absence. So like, if you make a contention, it doesn't mean that just because there's no evidence for it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, right?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you're thinking about it, like, I'm trying to think, here's what I was thinking about, and I don't know that study or whatever, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. But imagine somebody like Mech or whatever comes up with a hypothesis. He works with certain wolves, and then he describes this, and so he has this dominance idea as an example. Well, then they go in there and they go, well, this is misimplied, and they prove it wrong. But just because they proved what one man said was wrong, whether he was right or wrong or not, it doesn't solve the issue, right? Just because someone makes a bad study doesn't mean, see, that study proved that was wrong. It's like, it was like that one's more nuanced, but it's like, just because we don't have proof of something doesn't mean, like God, right?
Yeah.
You could say, just because there's an absence of evidence that there's God, that there is a God, doesn't mean that there is no God.
Oh yeah,
Just
that's the best example.
Just because we don't have that evidence doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
right?
it means nothing.
Yeah,
actually.
And then that kind of was tying back to what you were saying a minute ago, which is around this idea of experience versus papers and everything else. Is if you think about experience, people a lot of times do this in like fitness. I watch like fitness videos and things like that, and they'll talk about a program and they'll be like, oh, is it good? Is it better than this one? Is it this one? If you do a program, you're going to learn more than you're ever going to learn by reading about it.
You're going to look at your muscles.
Yeah, you're going to actually do something.
Kind of all that matters.
Yeah, you're going to do something, but it's
not
like,
all that matters.
But if you do, imagine just going through, like, even if you were doing a boot camp, you did some type of like fitness boot camp, and then maybe you did, I don't know, you did like a 5x5 powerlifting type of thing or whatever, right? Or weightlifting deal. But you do something like that. After 6, 12, whatever weeks of doing this, not only are you going to change, but you're going to have hands-on knowledge of the ups and downs of it. Like what was good about, oh, maybe I was a little bit tired or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't know that just like reading. So one guy tells you that. And also you might not respond the same way other people respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it just depends.
Yeah. So here's what I want to say about that mech thing. I'm going to explain why I care so little about David Mech and whether he proved something or didn't prove something, or he recanted it, or I don't know if I care 0%. I care almost 0% because I have had those dogs for 15 years. I've been training those dogs. And it's not like I just said, oh, this dog's aggressive and dominance fix this dog. Bye-bye, client. I'll never see you again. Those people come back or call me back, or they have another set of problems. And because of the board and train, I'm able to train dogs when they're young, and then they come back for years to do follow-up board and train, or follow-up boarding as it used to be. And so I see if my stuff works. So like my experience does it mean there's no place for studies? No, but experience and hands-on learning, is a form of learning, and it trumps all of that. And here's the thing, if you don't work with those dogs, those studies are your only window into aggression or dominance or difficult dogs are words written down on a paper. That's all you know. That's your only point of reference.
How many dogs have you handled? Let's say just grabbed a leash on.
I have no idea.
Could it be as much as 10,000 total dogs?
It could. That's a lot of dogs.
Could be 5,000.
More
than 1,000 for sure.
It's more than 1,000 within.
Because you did group training classes, right?
3 years, probably.
Yeah.
So many group classes.
Let's just say 1,000. If you look, we've talked about the studies in the past. If you look at the studies, right, a lot of times they're as we've talked about, they're calling people to ask questions. But even if they're actually using dogs, oh, well, we took 30 dogs and did this. It's like, yeah, you're dealing with thousands of dogs. So like sample size already, you're already trumping them.
And I have no dog in the fight.
Yeah, you don't need.
I don't care what method works best.
Yeah,
sorry.
Well, you do care you care ultimately because you're in like seeking the truth and you're trying to like understand.
I'm trying to help as many people and dogs as I can. The cream, when you get to the number of dogs that me and some other people have trained, the cream, if you have an open mind, the cream will rise to the top. I didn't choose my methods. I literally, it just happened ever so slowly, and I'm still not done learning and figuring things out, but the cream has risen. My 10,000 hours, I've done my 10,000 hours, and the best methods have risen to the top with some there's some ways I don't use the best method. I think e-collar training for recall is the best method. I just don't want to dive into and I don't want to go, well, this is the best, so buy this $100 tool because it's the best for one thing. But it is the best. E-collars is the best for fence jumping. No one can deny that. No one will deny that. I would try. I hope someone
would
tried.
deny it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, they can say it. They can make a video about it, but
So
it is the best.
I want to put a stamp just
Contingent punishment when they look up on the fence is the best way.
This is a better quote of that. Absence of evidence does not mean evidence of absence. It says an old quote by Dr. Carl Sagan means, in a very simple term, that if there is lack of evidence of presence of a thing, does not always conclude to the absence of that thing totally. My thought as soon as I read that was about like planets or solar systems, right? There's no evidence that there are other galaxies or additional galaxies. Well, then they get telescopes that are, oh, there are galaxies.
Oh, right.
So
right.
all this idea, and then I actually ran into this with studies recently. The guy that I was telling you about who has like a fitness program, and I was reading it to you, like what was involved in it. If you remember,
I remember.
He was saying, make sure to take BCAAs, which is like branched chain amino acids, right? He's like, take those before you work out if you're fasted. And he goes, you're going to say there's no good studies on that. And he goes like, I don't give a shit if there's no good studies on this. I've been training people for the last 20 years. He's like, all of those studies are garbage. He's like, they pick random people that don't even work out and they put them on these weird diets. He's like, I don't care what they have to say. It's almost exactly like you. Like, He's like, I have a lab. It's my clients. We do this all the time. I get results. I put them on the page. I show you the results, just like the YouTube videos. I'll show you what the dog looks like before. I'll show you what he looks like now.
Yep.
You know, so it's like, I don't need, and also it's like, I was thinking about this too. Like, we don't need to prove it to you in a sense. Like, we're doing our thing, right? You're doing your thing and it's working. So I don't need to go find 40 different ways to do this. We have a way that works.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
We went off a little bit there.
Yeah, we went off on a tangent, but it's all dog training related, you know?
I know, which is more than they're used to getting. So maybe we should go to some comments. What do you think?
All right, let's do it.
Oh, you know what? I think you should kick off that
voicemail.
Let me do a comment while you bring up the voicemail. How about that?
Yeah.
I thought this was actually funny. So LA Wise says, I was just watching another video and the thumbnail of this podcast came up as a suggestion. And that's when I realized what it was. I laughed out loud because I think those dogs are hilarious. Great job grabbing the current trend. That is about our last thumbnail, which was essentially those two goofy dogs that are, what are they, concerned or worried, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a very common thing on TikTok and all these other platforms where whatever video is going on, they show the dogs like looking all weird. So anyways, it's very nice that somebody picked up what we were dropping there.
Yeah.
State. Just had a couple of topics that I was wondering if you could talk about on the podcast. I've got a 9-month-old dog. He walks totally fine. We'll pass dogs, no reaction. We'll pass like really loud barking dogs, no reaction. But like I take him out at night into our front yard, and if a dog is walking past, he'll growl and, you know, post up. And I'm wondering if that will like turn into full leash reactivity when he becomes, you know, like 1.5, or if that's just normal fear period stuff for like, you know, it being nighttime and him being 9 months old. The other thing I was hoping that you guys.
Okay, let's get to that. That sounds like fear period stuff. She says it like I say it, fear period stuff. That's what it sounds like. But Sunshine. I wonder if this is the commenter Sunshine, who's like Sunshine State. I think she's been commenting for years. And
please let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Sounds like fear period stuff. What I would do though, because you need to be sure, dusk is a very tough time during a fear period. Everything looks different. Dogs get tripped out. And you said your dog will pass dogs, which is awesome. That's why I'm leaning towards its fear period, but I'm not positive yet. You have to get your dog playing with like some new dogs. And if your dog is a little weirded out at 9 months playing with other dogs, if your dog's happy-go-lucky with other dogs and passes dogs without incident, but only goes out at night and gets weird at dusk or maybe some other random times, then you have no problem. If your dog is a little weird off leash, or you're like, oh, I haven't gotten my dogs off leash, this might be a bigger problem that she needs to address. And the second part of her question.
I could talk about or touch on was like the repercussions of dogs being neutered too young. I know
There's no
you
problem with that.
said that it wasn't ideal for dogs to be neutered young. My rescue was neutered like under 3 months old. So I was just wondering like what the actual issues that can arise with that are. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Sunshine.
A lot of things have changed in the neutering world over the last 10, 15 years. Vets are saying not to neuter your dog.
Even vets?
Yeah, vets have really come around.
Wow.
So rescues are behind this, right? They don't want overpopulation. They're neutering at 3 months. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Like, let's take like the kidneys out of a dog at 3 months.
Do you want to be neutered?
I certainly don't want to be neutered. I told my wife, I don't even know if I want to say what I said.
Go ahead. It's just the pod.
I'd end it. I'd end the whole thing. I'd end my life.
Have you ever seen, was his name Varys?
What? Yeah. I'd end it. There's
neutered.
no, what's the point?
It's like being a eunuch.
Yeah, I'd end it. It'd be over. You would never see me again. Like last week, I would be, someone commented on, what if, we'll get to it later. Neutering your dog too young, take out their kidneys while you're at it. Like you're taking out this thing that produces these hormones that do these wonderful things to organisms and to males. Now, at a year and a half, your dog is humping every dog at the dog park. You have a choice to make. You want to go to the dog park? You can't go if they're humping everything. You want my method to stop humping? It's the shock and awe, mark and punish the behavior. Mark is a clap, punish is a grab, sit them down. You might try to out correct the wanting of sexual behavior. It's a drive that is very strong, and it's sometimes really hard to correct that behavior out. Ask any man about that drive. It ain't easy to get rid of it at all. So don't do it too young. Wait as long as you can. I'd get Prince neutered if at 4 years old now, he's got all his stuff going through him. He's probably got all the good stuff.
Why the hell would you neuter him?
I'm not saying
he's a champion.
Well, I wouldn't, because I want to breed him, but I wouldn't do it. But I'm saying if it changed my life and I was like, I need to do this, I need to go to these dog parks, I need this, I would do it. But I'm not going to. I'm just saying, listen, you got to be open to it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you don't really, there's so much overlap between humans and dogs.
We're organisms. Yeah. We're mammals. Like,
yeah,
we're here. They're intelligence wise. They're here. Chimps are here. Elephants are here. Killer whales are here. Dogs are here. Pigs are here. Cats are here. Then rodents are here. Blah blah blah. It's Can
I share a weird thing about speaking about?
More alike than not alike.
You're talking about kidneys. I was reading. I think it was on LinkedIn, and the person had a wife who was having liver problems and needs a liver transplant. And I was thinking, liver transplant? Like, how the hell do you transplant a liver? And I was like, I thought everyone needs their liver. And then I was reading more into it, and they were saying they need you to cut off part of your liver.
Oh my God.
And I imagine they just repurpose it, right? Because even a small amount of liver is probably better than nothing.
Oh, wow.
But I was like, man, like they don't even know them. They're just like, hey, someone on the street, you want to cut out your liver? They're like, we'll pay for your expenses. I was thinking, I hope you'll pay for the expenses.
I hope you'll pay me.
I hope you'll pay for the doctor to cut my liver out. I mean, but supposedly you can't, they can pay for expenses and certain things, but they don't want to be creating some type of organ drive, right? There's issues to that as well. But I didn't even know that was possible, but it seems like pretty amazing. But I did know my friend's mom had 2 kidneys, obviously, and she gave one of her kidneys to her mom. Pretty solid. It's a big surgery.
Bro, I'm giving my kidneys to a few people.
Yeah, who? Would you give me a kidney?
No.
Damn. I'm not going to give you a kidney.
I like how we act like we know that like you can take out one kidney and be fine. We don't know that. We don't know that.
I think it's you can take out one kidney and live for
Yeah,
a period of time.
I'm gonna die for you. Like,
I mean,
I'm
you
gonna
can
leave
die
of course you
doing
can
it,
die.
yeah.
You could die too young. You could get all these things that they don't even know that happen when you only have one kidney, and you're like, you get cancer, and you're like, was it because of the kidney removal, or was it, well, I was just gonna get cancer? Well, the people are not gonna be like, they want organ donors, right? Society wants organ donors. You're probably not getting the right information on having one kidney and what it actually does to you.
Yeah.
You were given 2 kidneys for a very important reason. It was not a waste. I had my appendix out. I was told my whole life. I got it out at 12 years old. I was on a camping trip with my school in the middle of nowhere, and my appendix almost burst. They had to rush me to the hospital. At 12 years old, my mom wasn't there. She drove 2 hours to get to me.
Why did it almost burst?
Well, I had an appendicitis.
Oh,
It bursts, I think, eventually. Okay. But anyway, I then read this article like a year ago. It's like, actually, and I was told my whole life, you don't need your appendix. It's this old school thing that you don't need in your body. And when I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It actually doesn't make any sense.
It's like your testicles. You don't really need
who needs them? A dog doesn't need
You
them.
don't need those.
You don't need those.
And you don't need to eat normal food either. You can eat dog food.
You can eat McDonald's,
like dogs do,
and you'll be fine. So I read this article that actually your appendix is a harbinger. I don't know, for bacteria, the good bacteria.
Wow. Who wants that?
So it has a purpose.
Harbinger. So you have to do this every so often. A person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another. Wow.
Could I have been right in that? Is that
I'm
right,
sure you're
or is
right.
that totally wrong?
No, I think you're right.
A person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another, and I'm talking about it for I thought harbinger would be like it collects things. Like,
no, I think
so. I did it wrong.
I think it's like the canary in the coal mine,
a forerunner of something.
Yeah, I think it's
a harbinger,
a prelude, something. But yeah, I think the point is that as we've discussed in
God
the most
made
recent
you
ones,
the way you're made, or Mother Nature made you the way you're made for a very specific reason.
I mean, you could if you take that idea and you just run with it, you go, hey, the way I am supposed to be is the way I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way. Now, if you start toying with that,
yeah,
right, and you say, I'm going to take the appendix out.
Yeah.
And then what's the other? I'll take my tonsils out.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But then it's like,
they found tonsils are good too.
Take your eyeball out. Well, why not? Right. It's like, maybe I want but so you're like, well, I need my eyeball. It's like, okay, what about your hand? So where do you draw the line? Like, of course, if there's a surgery that you need to have, life-saving surgery, you're going to probably do it. And one of the funny things too is, I think, we've been pretty critical on doctors, so we'll back off for a second there. But
will we?
They talk about practicing medicine, and I think that's a good way to say it, right? Because you are practicing. They don't know. They do have some experience. Hopefully, if they have a good heart, they have some experience in how to handle certain issues. Like, for instance, my oldest daughter's pediatrician, I would ask him, hey, is this okay? Is she going to be okay? He's like, it's fine. She'll be fine. And I'm like, and then he was right. It was nothing. He was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. Now, every now and then they're wrong. Right. But he was right. He's just like, don't worry about it. It's nothing. It'll be fine. It'll go away.
Yes.
And I think he learned that from a lot of experience.
Yes.
And so he was kind of probably more of that old school 1970s doctor that's just like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
here's doctors, and I don't want to paint with a broad brush over this.
That's what we specialize on this show.
And there's a lot of good ones, and there's a lot of bad ones. I think doctors,
like dog trainers,
I don't think most doctors really care much about your health that much, right? They're trying to fit you in 3 days a week so they can golf 4 days a week, right? You ever wonder why you wait so long? It's because they take a lot of days off because they want to golf. And so you're the one waiting in the office. They don't spread you out, right? Spread your appointments out, their appointments out. They don't want you to die, and they don't want you to file a report.
Yeah.
They're really good at those two things. That's what you ever wonder why people can go to the doctor and get pills or tell the doctor the medication you want to be on.
Yeah, like
They
last
don't
week.
want you filing you want you.
Like
They
last
don't
week.
want you filing a report. It's a big deal. I knew a doctor, and he had one report filed against him, and it was a big deal to him, giant deal. So you have a lot of power with your doctor, but they don't want you to die.
But also,
I don't think they care much about. I went to a doctor recently, and I thought the guy was great.
the bar is so low though. Like, my wife was making a pediatrician appointment, I guess some type of well check thing.
Pediatricians are pretty good.
And he goes, so she was trying to make an appointment, and it was they're like, yeah, I can only see you at 11:30. And she's like, well, that's his nap time. Is there a different time we can do? No. It's like, how about the following month? Nope, can't do that. It's like
month later.
It's like you can't it has to be during his, like, don't you think it's good to just let him sleep when he sleeps, and then we'll work around that? Like, we can't months out, we can't figure this out. It's like, no, that's when we do what we do.
Yeah.
It's right. It's like, but so I do think it's a low bar. You could easily increase, like, it doesn't take a great doctor and businessman to wow people, probably. Because think about too with doctors and dentists and the ridiculousness with the punctuality. Like,
it's
ridiculous. You go to a doctor's appointment at 9 o'clock, and it's like they're not seeing you before 9:45 most of the time.
Yeah. What is that?
What
I just told you what it is.
Okay, if you need me to fill out the form, and then it's like, they're like, well, we'll have to fill out
How does this
forms.
only go one way?
Yeah. It's like there's a lack of respect for people's time.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. Like, in other businesses, they would go crazy. Like, what if you met your banker? You're like, hey, let me meet you at 9, and it's like 10. You'd be like, hey, I thought I had an appointment with you at 9.
Yeah.
They're like, no, that doesn't count.
I've gone to the vet before, and the vet's like in surgery because a dog got hit by a car. That I understand. Your normal doctor, he ain't doing surgery in the back room on anybody.
Yeah, especially
he just tried to
offices.
Get you guys as close together
it's
as
different, right?
Can.
You're in the hospital, there's emergencies. Like, if you're just sitting there at like some clinic, like random kind of down the street thing, they're not doing life-saving stuff, generally speaking. You know, I mean, it's a total racket. So be where you say you're going to be, do what you say you're going to do, right?
Yep.
That's the way we live here. Or even if it's not the way we live. Hey, we already did that one.
I don't know how to. I like that she called though.
So I thought this was funny. You were attacking people on Instagram last podcast, and Off Grid Dog says about your being arrogant. He says, no, don't go soft on us. Arrogance is your most endearing quality. Laugh out loud.
Yeah. Off Grid Dogs get some leeway because he's such a
old school
heavy commenter. But like, arrogance? Am I arrogant, or is there a better word for that?
I mean, here, let's think about this for a second. So, let's not talk about grappling. Let's talk about something more popular, like basketball. So if you talk about like someone like Michael Jordan, and let's just take our way back machine back to, let's say, 98 or something like that, and go, Michael Jordan says, hey, I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest, maybe the greatest of all time. Right. If he says that, like, well, he's arrogant. It's like, but is he actually arrogant, or is he just being truthful?
Yeah. It's a tough call.
I mean, isn't he to me, he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah. But then like LeBron does it, and these reporters,
but he's not the greatest of all time.
I know. And it does come across, and I don't want to come across like that, but there are certain people that say that, and so I just don't like them, and it bothers me.
But I don't think that the top 5, top 10 dog trainers, top 5, top 10 basketball players, if they say, if Kobe Bryant said he was the greatest basketball player of all time, I'd be like, and I didn't like him sports wise, but I've learned to love him.
Me too.
But he definitely wasn't a Laker fan. So, but he was really damn good. And I mean, we're talking at the highest of the high levels.
But if he said that, what?
I'd be like, yeah, he's pretty effing good. And so I wouldn't be like, he's arrogant. I'd be like, no, he probably believes he's the greatest to ever do it. And this moth is going to meet an early demise if it keeps entering the podcast.
Yeah.
But you see my point?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's arrogant. I think that everyone has their lane. You look at, if Cesar Millan said he was the greatest, I think people go, yeah, well, he's definitely one of the greatest. You could say it. I think Garrett, Dog Daddy, some of these other folks that have done a lot in the world and have the dogs and the videos to prove it. If they say they're the best, are you going to get mad at them? Would you get mad at Dog Daddy if he said he's the best?
No.
But
I wouldn't get mad at it. I mean, no, because that's a Dog Daddy.
That's his shtick. Right?
Yeah. He's there's just some people who have set that up. All right, here's another one from a little hazelnutty. It was talking about my death last week, and this person said, "What if the circumstances of Joel's death are suspicious? The podcast could just become a weekly update of the investigation."
Yeah, like what are they called?
Highlighting possible suspects of any conspiracy theories surrounding his death. Then
like the murderinos. Have you ever heard of that? Like there's people that they love to investigate, like true crime.
I don't watch any of the true crime stuff.
No, I don't either.
Did trick or treat resort to violence of being challenged in the comment section? Okay, so yeah, if I die of suspicious causes,
what was the trick? What did you just read?
I just don't want to keep reading. You want me to read it?
What did they say? Yeah, that was
episode 57. Did trick
27.
for treats. It says episode 57. That's why I didn't read it. I don't know where the person's going with this.
Oh, maybe they're talking about somebody else's podcast.
I don't know.
Can I see real quick?
Yeah.
Say something really cool while I look at this.
I think you just read different comments because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're talking about something I don't understand. That's okay.
Okay.
I'll even give you your phone back. I've got comments when you're ready.
Joel, I've learned so much from you. Love how you keep it real. Always people that cannot deal with that. Keep up the good. Okay, I do not want to read just good comments about us.
I got one for you. Crystal. She says, I don't know if it's just me or a certain personality type or being in the 40-50 range, but there isn't any greater online joy than stirring up all kinds of drama between the boomers and the millennials. And
I didn't know it was I've never thought in those terms. I guess there is like young people who are like, you're the worst person for grabbing a pit bull. Like, which is crazy.
I think
it's not 50-year-old men who are saying that.
But what's funny too about millennials is there's all this baggage that goes with being a millennial. And I know you're not a millennial, you're Generation X.
Yeah.
But I would technically be the oldest millennial that there can be.
Oh, really?
From my birth year, whatever. But people go, oh, they don't have jobs. They don't do all this type of stuff. And I'll be like, did you know I'm a millennial? And they'll be like, are you? And I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, but you're almost the other thing. You don't really count.
I kind of, you can kind of, basically like pass a test and just like graduate out of millennial.
What's up with my Generation X? Like,
bums, total bums.
What's the thinking?
Basically
I know boomers. I know Gen X. I know whatever the people are now. What are we? We're like boring.
No. So what I understand, or I don't understand, but so like boomers, right? Obviously for the baby boom, most people like to say that they inherited like the greatest amount of wealth that any society has ever.
And they bought their houses at like super cheap, and now they're like,
their parents were products.
Make sure you never stop the social. That's what our friend said. Make sure you never stop the Social Security. Yet they're sitting in like $2 million houses they bought for $30,000.
Yeah. Well, the parents of the boomers were the ones that lived through the Depression,
right?
Yeah, and fought in World War II, generally speaking, and so they had a hard life, and they were savers and badasses, right? So then, they ended up kind of leaving the money to the baby boomers. So the baby boomers have basically effed off quite a bit of that cash that, but that's how it always goes. You can't get mad at them because part of it is that if you don't work for the money yourself, you're not going to value it the same way that your parents did.
It's true.
Right. So there's something to that.
So what about X?
So then there's the Generation Xers, which I think is like about 65. 65.
Oh. All right, that's me. I'm right in the middle of it.
Yeah. So pot smokers, bums.
Really?
Yeah.
You know this, or you're just making this up?
Drifters. No, I mean they were kind of like a product of the late 70s, early 80s, kind of.
We're kind of the last like free range, like go on your bike, and just be out all day.
Yeah, I think that's right.
that's the thinking.
But it was a bit of they were like, I would say lost, but they were kind of a bit ignored. Like the boomers did a lot, even though they weren't like they might not have done a lot of good stuff. They did a lot of stuff. And then millennials were kind of, and I don't know. I believe millennial would probably be 81 to 95 or something. I could be wrong. I don't know the outside range, but it's kind of like people in their 30s, I'd say right now, but maybe not. And then there's a bunch of other ones I don't know. But just like anything where you try to lump everyone together,
yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And there's some really hard workers in every group, and there's some slackers in every group. And I'm sure there was there was homeless people, that were drinking a bottle all day in the 1930s, and
or people grew up with money. It might be a different experience with broke people, no matter what year they were born.
Our military guy that we keep referencing, he sent me a meme yesterday or whatever, and it was like 19-year-olds, like basically saying like, "Oh, life is so hard. I don't know what I'm ever going to do." Right. And then they're like his grandpa. It's like World War II or whatever, or, and he's like, they're showing like this battle scene, and they're like firing in a trench. It's like at 19.
It's not their fault though. Like if you break your arm and you're in the hospital and somebody next to you has a full body cast, it doesn't make your arm hurt any less. Like that's your pain. Like it doesn't change your pain level. You can sit there and go, boy, I'm glad that's not me, but you're still in the pain that you're in.
I don't know though. I might have a experience I can't fully share, but like if you happen to get beat up or just roughed up, and then somebody else gets like chainsaw level annihilated, you're kind of like
Scarface style.
Yeah, just like bleeding like profusely. You're kind of like, okay, that's fine. I took an L. You took a bigger L. Like, I'll be okay, And
maybe.
I think that body cast gives you some perspective, right? You see that guy coming in, and you're like, whoa,
yeah, perspective.
Like this is not. And then even still, like if you think about the way we live, right? I mean, people are always down on how they don't have enough money and enough opportunity, but they kind of joke about this, like, yeah, you don't want to go to other countries, right? I mean, especially like non-Western countries. Go try your luck in Jamaica. Go try your luck in Haiti.
I do sort of go like, okay, if a whole group of people are acting a certain way, it's like when you have to bring it back to dogs for me, and you're like, yeah, but it's on the owners, and I'm kind of like, yeah, but it's not always on the owners. Like the dog, and you're like, it's on the owners. Well, if a whole group of people, 19-year-olds, are acting a certain way, like, is it their fault? Like, it's someone else's fault, society's fault. They have no hope. Their parents screwed them up. Like, something happened. Is it, if they're all, I used to teach dog training classes, and I'd go, okay, I'd show the thing and the lure into a sit, and I'd go, okay, guys, everyone go. If multiple people in the class were looking at me weird, it's because I didn't explain it well.
Yeah.
And if maybe they weren't listening, well, guess whose fault that is? That's my fault.
Yeah. If
it's one person, it's different. If half the class isn't understanding, then I did it. If all these 19-year-olds are acting a fool, well, why are they acting a fool? Why is a whole group of people? I was at SeaWorld, and they used to do this thing at SeaWorld where we'd go to Dine with Shamu, which is a kind of off-the-cuff talk. And sometimes trainers would go, hey guys, how are y'all doing today? And then the people would go, and they go, hey, and this bothers me to this day. And now that you've seen this, it's going to bother you, and it should bother you. And I see it at parades, or I see it somewhere. The person on the mic gets up and goes, how's everybody doing today? And everyone goes, and then they go, hey, what's going on? I know you guys can do better than that. How you doing today? And then everyone claps. Bro, you didn't get them going the first time. You don't get to blame them for their lack of response.
Your weak intro.
You screwed up.
Yeah.
Don't put it on them to clap louder. It really bothers me.
Or we're gonna hold you hostage until you make a certain amount of noise before someone comes out.
Yeah, you did a horrible job getting them going, and now you're like, what's wrong with you guys? We need a louder clap for your own ego. You screwed up. So someone told me, don't ever do that. Like, I think so. All these 19-year-olds or whatever the age is, I don't know, they're doing whatever.
You're bringing up an excellent point.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't like to give you credit often, but you are right. So I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast or not, but I have been in debates about age and things like that in generational conflict, as this person's saying. And one of the things about it was they were saying, "Oh, well, you're the era of everyone gets a trophy, right?" Oh, you got it finally.
Oh, don't get me started on trophy stuff.
But
I have a difference of opinion.
So when I was young, and I think I missed that generation, but I think I was close to it. But here's the thing: is like everybody gets a trophy, and then I thought, okay, so imagine you had a person who's 30 right now, and when they grew up, everyone got a trophy, and I was thinking, to your point, well, how'd they get the trophy? They didn't go buy the trophies, right? I mean, the kids don't do that.
Yeah.
So the parents went out and wanted to make sure. So you're blaming the kids when it was the people
30 years older are the ones who messed that up.
But the people that actually are complaining about everyone gets a trophy, it was their family and their wives or husbands who actually were buying the trophies.
Totally true.
And now they're complaining about it.
Totally true.
Which is so true just in general, that like who else would complain other than the person that is actually to blame?
That's so true.
Yeah, but what you're
Quit
saying,
blaming.
Yeah, you're on point with this. Like, why is it the way it is? Like, why? This is a really hard truth. We've talked about this a lot with the YouTube stuff. Well, why doesn't this video is really good? Why didn't it get any views?
Because it's not good.
It sucks. The fans think it sucks. No one's interested. They don't care. They don't care about the topic. They don't care about the footage. They don't care about your voiceover. It sucks.
You did a bad video.
Yeah.
YouTube, more than any other medium, knows what a good video is, because you can't share them, because
or it's hard to share.
Or it's hard to share them. Whatever. It's the algorithm picks up a good video.
Yeah.
And knows when people are watching, and if people aren't watching, it's a bad video.
Yeah. Go to YouTube, go to / Beckman Dog Training, click on the videos, and then sort it by popular, and look at the top, and all top 10 are over 1 million views. Click and watch each video.
Yeah.
You'll be like, even if you don't like Joel, you'll be like, that's a pretty good engaging video.
I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah, and then if you look at the top video, which was the hound video.
Yeah.
What is it? Can a Doberman help another dog or something like that?
Yeah.
That video, I've watched it multiple times. I've rewatched it and I'm like, this is such a damn good video, because there's a story about the dog. Prince roughs the dog up. The dog makes good progress, right? There's just so many elements of
Then I take
magic.
Prince and I talk to him.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, it's okay, Princey. And you can hear me like in the background, like there's an air of weirdness. People still comment. They're like, that was weird. So there's like this extra thrown in like weirdness to it, which makes it interesting.
It's so good. I feel like we should show it.
No,
you don't want to show it?
No.
Are you embarrassed?
No, I
the
just
part
don't
where
want
you
to see
hold
it
it,
again.
you go, it's okay. It's okay, Prince. It's okay. You do it, and you did it for a little while, and you kept it in there.
And I
too.
kept it in because I didn't know the video was getting 7 million views.
Yeah, and then also you can, when you go through, a lot of them will have the like peaks and valleys, right? And it'll show what people are rewinding and watching over and over. And then you go, yeah, those are the most exciting parts.
They
of
always
it.
are.
And so when people go,
it's kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? The best one was the crowd. What the crowd thinks is the right answer.
Yeah.
It was never wrong, because it's a lot of people giving it. The cream will eventually rise to the top when you have enough people. When enough people view a video, they will tell you the best parts. It's not up to me to know the best parts.
Yeah. Just phone a friend. It's like,
phone a friend.
Well, now there's like Google. It'd be pretty hard to solve that. But yeah, exactly. If you ask enough people, you're generally going to get, what you're going to get actually is conventional wisdom probably. But if you think about dog training, the cream has risen to the top, and those top people that are making the biggest impact, it's like the people that are not making the biggest impact, that might be the loudest, they are not working with the aggressive dogs.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because it goes back over and over to like, show us you've said this a million times, but show us your work. We'll take a look and we'll see what we think. Like, don't tell me how to fix a car. Show me how to fix it. That's what YouTube's all about.
It's a video medium. If we were at a debate on a college campus and we were talking, that's a different story.
Yeah. And you know the thing about it though,
people
even with
talking on these videos drives me insane.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you're doing a podcast, I get it, right?
Yeah.
And to protect
it's
ourselves.
It's a freaking podcast.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
We're not going to. No, but then you got the people in the comments are like, well, hey, like, I liked your videos. Like, we're still doing videos. We're doing this also. This is not
labor of love.
Yeah, it's a labor of love. Let's do more. Do you have any more comments?
Probably. Go ahead.
Okay, I always have great comments here.
He
Yeah, that
always
was
had
good.
great
I'm not going to read that one. Dude, they've got a lot of them.
Dude,
That's so many.
Joel's so savage on the comment replies.
have
It's
that.
hilarious. This is exactly what the Instagram community needs.
Yeah.
I like savage. I like when people are savage in the comments, and I think most people like that. But you get into these arguments that I don't have time for. I get into arguments I don't have time for.
This is what the what we were mentioning earlier, right? It was this playful tree said, "You give so much good content already. Throw us a bone and have Eric training dogs for the first time on camera. I want to see how good of a trainer he could be. Also, I'm I think in love. I'm love behind the scenes looks at how businesses work. An hour-long session I'd play in the background." So a lot of people also said that they would like to see just the raw videos posted.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna post a good one. 1 hour.
Are you?
Yeah, at some point.
Hmm.
They want to see it. Okay, here's one. Oh my God, y'all are hilarious. I would like to hear from Liz. Liz is my wife. I mean, come on, boys. Laugh out loud. That's from Tracy JGS mom. Liz doesn't want to drive out here.
I know.
She can. There's an open invitation. She doesn't want to sit in between us and talk on this podcast.
I know. I'm sure she has no interest in doing this.
We have 3 kids. We have a whole business to run. I'd like to see Liz here, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. It's like I work all day. Family's hanging out. We're in here.
Yeah.
Recording the podcast.
This is not at my house.
Yeah.
This podcast.
Yeah. I know people are like, why is Eric there? I'm like, it's at my mother effing house to start. Right. That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
And then people are always asking these questions. And I'm just like, guys, you guys are driving me nuts with all your questions.
Yeah.
You know? So, here's what we have to do as well. We are going to do the Russian roulette comment.
All right, go.
I told this to Joel. So
he's going to scroll and find
basically
and
just start swinging around
and
here.
You got to pick the one that you, and it
just
could
start going and
yeah.
then just
stop.
Put my finger down here. Oh my goodness. I've actually read this one. I wish I didn't. Today
already?
This is the worst comment I could have possibly read. I read it like a few days ago.
Oh, you've read it.
It's from Mindy. And I'm not gonna sing it in this way. Let's talk about death, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about death.
What's an
Let's
interesting
talk about
one.
death.
Keep reading it.
That's it.
Oh, so she just sung a song in the comments.
You know what song that was, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's talk about. So, yeah, we're talking about death last week.
That was.
I like that comment.
I mean, it was good. I just didn't really want to sing it. How about this one? I just did
true.
another one. Soulless. What galls me most about pit people is that they totally ignore and often even refute what and why the pit was even bred for and to do. Nothing about that dog is for friendship or companionship or even human interaction or anything of the sort. That dog was created to do one thing, and sadly, to many women and children, it's still doing what it was made to do: injure, maim, and kill. I am a dog lover and have a dog soul. I would even say, but pits, in my opinion, are one of the only dogs that would be better off gone, period. Might sound harsh, but damn. And that might be why we don't do Russian roulette comment. What's your thought on that comment?
I like that comment. It is amazing the love and the hate I got for the Instagram video that has almost 1 million views where I simply grab a pit bull. People lost their minds that I would grab a dog by the collar.
You broke their brains.
At my property, the dog goes, one, they thought I had a toy in my hand. I didn't. They lost their minds. The strongest dog in the world, pound for pound, maybe it's a bull terrier, maybe it's a pit bull. In the world, they don't think can be grabbed by his collar. That's literally what they think. They think he's a poor little baby. I'm trying to save that dog's life. I'm not trying to. The folks that would do it differently are the ones that are going to get that dog killed or and that dog, listen, he was young. I was trying to prevent future problems, but they lost their minds. So eliminating pit bulls as a breed, this is a weird area.
That's a real weird area.
Well, here's why. we're not killing any dogs. They eliminate the breed. And this isn't humans we're talking about. This is dog breeds.
But
If
it's also under the list of things that aren't going to happen, right?
It could happen. It won't happen in America.
Not in America.
It happened in Europe. It's happening right now. And it's such a strange argument. Where no dogs are going to die. I don't think. They don't kill them. They somehow phase the breeding out of the dog.
Imagine trying to kill all the pit bulls in America. That would be like,
yeah, it would never happen.
Completely impossible.
Bro, I love Dobermans.
No one who owns one would allow it. For a second.
I love Dobermans. Here's where I stand. Here's where my attitude is.
In your humble opinion,
I love Dobermans more than any breed. If they tomorrow outlawed Dobermans, I'd go, oh, that's too bad. I'm gonna get a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
But the Pitbull people lose their minds. It's the weirdest thing to me. Can someone explain it to me? I think it's this sort of, they think animals are people and they think they're eliminating a race of people because animals are the same as people. I don't know what it is. Literally, if they allowed Dobermans, I would go, okay, I'll get a Rottweiler. But the Pitbull people are like, no. We're not standing for this.
Have you ever heard
what's that?
Have you ever heard the term suitability before?
Yeah.
They have a suitability when it comes to investing, right? So let's say you're going to, you want to invest in the stock market. Well, first thing you're going to ask somebody is, are you 18 years old? Are you 40 years old? Are you 80? Right? If you're 99 years old, that investment might not be suitable for you. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Is suitability, the quality of being right or appropriate for a particular person, purpose, or situation. So we should make a video called Dog Suitability. So like, if you think about suitability, is a pit bull a suitable dog for Joel to own? Probably. Now, maybe not the perfect breed for
a helper dog, but I could own one. Yes.
But yeah. Could you own one? Yeah. Would it be fine? Of course. Like if it was from a rescue, would it be more difficult? I'd bet it would be.
For anyone.
But yeah, for anyone. But could you take a pit bull puppy and make it a fantastic dog? Of course. Yeah. Right. So, but it's suitable for you. Now, is a really, big, whatever, Presa Canario, is that good for your 87-year-old grandma?
Yeah.
Probably not.
No.
Right? So
suitability.
Suitability. Are you into that?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think I should tell you this one comment which goes along with this, and then we should be done. An Instagram comment. Somebody, I had never thought of it this way. And I think about things outside the box, especially when it comes to dogs, but I'd never quite thought about it this way. Somebody goes, it's all about how you raise them. And if you raise them right, they're going to be fine. Then the smart commenter said, if there is a breed that you need to raise perfectly so it doesn't maul people, that breed should be eliminated. That is not a bad point.
Yeah, but what about the only issue becomes how much damage is done from an attack versus basically you've been bit by a golden retriever. I know someone's daughter who got bit by a golden retriever in the face.
Yeah, no. The damage from an attack is the point. That is the argument against pit bulls.
True.
That's the only. They're not really.
But
no,
then it's a level of degrees, right? Because you're saying like, oh, well, this one disfigured her face, but the pit bull disfigured it a lot worse.
Exactly.
But it's like either one is bad.
True.
Either one is life changing.
True.
So it's like they're not going to go. They're not going to go get golden retrievers.
But one is worse.
Yeah, but every dog, if you breed it bigger, will be worse in a sense.
Yeah, but pit bulls aren't that big.
Yeah, but I don't even know what a pit bull is really, right? I mean,
if
you
know.
Think of like,
I'll say pit bull on the voiceover, and people are like, "That's not a pit bull." I'm like,
"No, you can't."
What the hell is a pit bull?
You first of
all, and they act like they know. These people don't even know. There's Pitbull, the rapper.
Actually, I think I spelled it wrong too. It's Pitbull. But the thing is there's so much. It's like Pitbull in my mind, it's like, yeah, it's this omnipresent, like big jaws, right?
It's stupid.
It covers a extremely wide. It's like saying, I mean, they are a terrier, but it's like saying terrier almost, right? It's like a retriever. There's such a large number of animals under the Pitbull umbrella.
And people think that they have the. Now, listen, is a Staffordshire Terrier different than a Pitbull? Yes. Is a Bull Terrier different than a Pitbull? Yes. Is a Bully different than a Pitbull? Yes. But there are these sort of changing. What is a Pitbull and what is not a Pitbull? It's changing. We have not figured it out.
I used to hear that. When I used to talk about Pitbull, I used to hear that a Staffordshire Terrier was a Pitbull. That's what I would originally. Yeah. If you look at Wikipedia, it says a Pitbull is a term used in the United States for a type of dog believed to have descended from bull and terriers. While in other countries, such as the United Kingdom, the term is used as an abbreviation of the American Pit Bull Terrier. And so they're already kind of getting into that. Within the United States, the Pit Bull is usually considered a diverse grouping that includes the breeds American Pit Bull Terrier, American Staffordshire Terrier.
According to the comments, there's no diverse thing. It is one thing.
Yeah, of course. Well, the comment people are never wrong, too. American Staffordshire Terrier, American Bully, which we just discussed.
No.
Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and occasionally the American Bulldog, which is also what we were talking about.
Which is different.
So, but then even still, if you just saw a Presa Canario or other dogs like that, you would probably be like, that's a big pit bull, right?
Yeah. Well, not a Presa Canario.
I mean, the layperson. I mean, yeah, your average person doesn't. Hey, there's a pit bull off a leash. Oh, tell her I said hi, by the way.
I can't. I'm doing a podcast. I'm saying doing podcast. She left a voicemail. Doing podcast. What's up? When you have kids, you need to get back to your wife, even if you're in the middle of a podcast, because they might be on their way to the hospital. It's not the craziest thing to think.
How can you help them, and as that relates to that?
I would leave.
Okay, that's good.
But like crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, I think. But yeah, so I think to put a fork in the podcast, more drama. I think next week, if you could work on IG to get into more arguments with people on that, that video. You can get more death threats. You didn't bring up the death threat thing?
Oh yeah,
can you bring that up and we'll go out before?
I don't know how to find it. Yeah, they got a death threat on.
They're basically saying, "I hope
the dogs turn on you and you die."
They basically eat you to death.
Yeah, there you go, and like you die.
And then they said for the way you train, in quotation, because you're not a real trainer, you are a fake trainer. And
why is it that the force-free folks seem to be so
angry,
forceful? Why is it the positive folks are the opposite of positive?
Is that like Antifa or something like that?
It's animal rights, bro. They love animals. They hate people.
But it's like
that's animal
Antifa,
rights.
Anti-fascist.
Yeah.
But then people go, they're fascist.
Yeah. That's it.
But they can't be fascist. The name called anti-fascist. It's like, this is a good deal. It says it right in the title. They're not going to.
It's actually genius.
They're not going to lie to you. Yeah.
It's like, actually very smart.
It's like, yeah, it's the best damn sports show, period. It's like, well, it must be. And of course, it's never as advertised, right?
If we call ourselves force-free, people will think we are nice. Yet we are so angry at everybody.
Yes.
Unless you do it our way, we hate you and we wish you died.
Yes. And we will do whatever we
we're
can
force-free
to absolutely destroy you, your life, your family, everything about you. We might burn down your house and do all kinds of stuff. Right. But we're force-free.
But we're force-free.
So as a parting gift, everyone go to YouTube, search the George Carlin joke about religion. It's pretty good.
All right. Love you.
See you guys.